Fire Escape Academy inspector training video. Here we are in Beverly, Massachusetts. Mass building code here is 1028.3. All exterior steel or wooden stairs, fire escapes and balconies must be inspected. So this is one of those. We got a fire escape here. We got steel or wooden stairs, which we call fire escapes also, but they're considered exterior steel or wooden stairs. And the one thing you got to look at is just from this far out. You look at those. Look like they were originally pressure treated, but they look like they're starting to. They haven't been kept, meaning they should have been stained by now. Otherwise, they're at their 20 to 30 year life that they need to be replaced, because the pressure treatment, had it been sealed and stained, we'd probably get another 5 to 10 more years out of that. But so just from down here, looks like a deterioration issue on the wood. Let's take a look at the steel here. Now, two things you need to write in order to write a paint violation. One is, it has to have more paint than rust or more rust than paint. Now, to write the violation, I need more rust than paint, and that's clearly not the case here on this steel one here. So now, to find out whether or not there's been maintenance done on this, the first thing you look for is some issues in regards to the bolting. So let's see if there's any additional, if there's still standard rust, any additional, original square head bolts that you can find. The bolts on the rails are square heads. You look into the ground to see if it's not lifting off the ground. You look for rust to be growing. You definitely got rust there between the rail and the channel, and so it's eating that channel. Look at this rust right there. So right away, you've got the bolts that have snapped out of the egress clip. So that stringer is ready to go. You got all the bolts on the inside. As you can see, they're all squares, and you can see tears, and you can see lines of rust between the tread clip and the stringer. But the biggest problem is, look how much rust is here. It's like an inch of rust. So the only, and as you can see, some of the bolts have been changed. And if you go up, you can see missing bolts. But anytime you see original square head bolts on an original fire escape, and this fire escape is 50 to 75 years old, there's no way that these bolts would have lasted this long. So this is a perfect example of somebody who came in, was written a violation that says scraping and painted, and they did. They just scraped it and painted. They didn't have any regard for whether or not the structural work needed to be done. And when you look up at this fire escape, and we're in the parking lot in the back in Beverly downtown here, so if you look at that, you can see rust on the supports. I mean, half-inch rust up there with a naked eye. So if you don't know to look for these things, somebody driving by looking at this nice black fire escape would say this fire escape passed. When in actuality, this fire escape has some life safety issues in that some of these treads are ready to go. The stringer is ready to go, with that much rust. So let's take a little quick walk up this fire escape and see what else we can find. Spalling cement. And if you look left to right, you see that rust has been getting in. There's a huge gap on that clip. Huge gap on this clip. And that clip is not even there anymore. It's not even holding the stringer anymore. So any kind of shift of any kind, and this stringer is going to fall to the ground. So it's these things that you got to look for. Can't write scrape and paint violations, because people will literally scrape and paint their fire escape. You got to write repair, paint, test violations. And that is to make sure that the fire escape is inspected first by a structural engineer and/or others acceptable to the building official. Repairs are done, then the fire escape is painted. That's when you can then decide whether or not load test is required. And in Massachusetts, currently there is no load test requirement after a fire escape hasn't been repaired. But here's a perfect example of a fire escape that's been scraped and painted with a total disregard for the structural. Any questions on this or any other fire escape training, please give us a call at 866-649-0333. FireEscapeEngineers.com is the website. You can also go on YouTube, type in Fire Escape Academy Inspector Training, and we have this and many other videos online training on all types of fire escapes throughout the United States.